everyone, Flora Sage here, and I want to say hello from vacation. I have a couple days left. Today is Thursday, and I wanted to pop in here because I've missed all of you so much, and wanted to kind of rant a little bit about something that that's been on my mind. That's been kind of bugging so we can get some people on the line. And okay, so I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks, and this has been a staycation. I have been pleasantly sleeping in and been doing my own thing. And I've also been working maybe 2 hours a day on a launch that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing the How to Manifest Like a Boss twice in July. We're starting on Monday, and then so Monday the 10th through the 14th, and then the 24th through the 28th. So it's been very interesting because I have an autoresponder going out saying, hey, I'm on vacation. And I've had this one person email me 5 times saying, hey, I know you're there. I know you're working. Answer my email. And this person is not a paying client. This person is not a VIP. And my email is for my VIP clients and my paying clients and my students who are currently in programs. And she basically wanted a free reading and free coaching, and I had my assistant email her okay, so my autoresponder says, hey, I'm on vacation, yay! And I'll get back on the 10th. That's the first day that I'm going to be officially in the office, where I'm going to actually devote time to my email. And so I had my assistant email her with a link to my private phone sessions. And the person just sent this scathing email back saying, well, I don't know why Flora couldn't respond back because she's working and yada yada. And I'm like, actually, no, I'm not going into email. What I'm doing is actually working on my launch, which is not even in email. I'm not even opening email. So it's just been very interesting just to kind of see all of this, because I opened my email today because this is the first day that I'm like, okay, I'm going to check email. I have separate email boxes. I have one for my private clients and my assistant, and then one that's kind of the general mailbox. And so the general mailbox I haven't opened. And anyway, so it's very interesting when people set up boundaries. When they say, okay, this is my boundary, this is a parameter, aka I am on vacation, and people assume that they can just barge through the boundary whenever they want. It's kind of like if you're going to the bathroom when you first date somebody, and they come into the bathroom when you're going to the bathroom, you're like, hello, I'm going to the bathroom, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, they may be okay with being in a bathroom with somebody while they're going, but you may not be. And so what's a healthy boundary for you might not be a healthy boundary for somebody else. And I got to tell you, this person that emailed 5 times and was exceedingly rude each time and wants a private session, I'm not going to do the private session with the person. I don't care if they want to pay me $1 million. I'm not going to work with the type of person who's not going to honor my boundaries, because I refuse to do it, and especially when someone is on vacation, even if you know that they're home, honor that, honor the time off. All of us have our certain needs and desires that we need to abide by, that we need to really adhere to in order to have a really what's the right word? Well, just to have that kind of peace of mind, things that we do and engage in that make us feel good, that lift us up, that fill us back up. And part of that is taking time off. I take off the last week of June, first week of July off every single year. I have for the last 10 years. And so I just found it very interesting that this person just felt that they needed to get a hold of me and that they had to get a reading. And I'm just like, there's a lot of other readers, there's a lot of other coaches. If you were this hard up for a reading, go to somebody else, you know. But I'm not going to come out of my vacation to do this for you. Anyway, I didn't really mean to get on this huge rant, but whatever. I mean, it was very interesting because you know, the response that this person sent, well, who is she to think that she can't give a reading to somebody? And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not giving anything to anybody. I'm being of service, and so there's going to be an equal energy exchange and all this. And anyway, it was just, I had to just kind of say, you know what, not my circus, not my monkeys, and not my client. She is not the perfect person for me. And I don't work with everybody that comes through the door. I don't work with everybody who wants to work with me because I am picky about who I exchange energy with. I'm very picky. And all of you on this are very picky because we vibrate at a similar frequency. That's why we are here together today. And so it's interesting. I had to look at my energy and say, okay, what am I doing that is attracting this type of person? What am I doing that's attracting this type of energy that I am not honoring in myself, that she can just barge in here and not honor my energy? And I had to look and just say, okay, well, there was a couple things that I wasn't doing. I wasn't doing as much journaling as I wanted to do. I was working a little bit longer than 2 hours, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not honoring my own boundaries, and thank you for the lesson. And once I realized and recognized that she was merely a reflection of something in myself, it quickly dissipated and disappeared, which is really good. So Penny says, we can all be poor at setting boundaries in an attempt to be nice to everyone and be available. Yep, and that's something that I stopped doing years ago when I first started online. So I've been in my business since '97. And most of it has been local and all that other stuff. And then in in '09, I went online. And that was really shocking to see how many people just assumed that you would just do whatever for free. And it's like, no, I'm not working for free, you know. And so I put my boundaries up, and a lot of people think that because I do coaching, because I do reading, because I'm a teacher, that I should be basically teaching and coaching and reading 24/7. And no, I don't. I only work with people who are willing to do an even energy exchange. Just like I am not willing to bring my car to the mechanic and demand that they work on my car because that's just what they do naturally. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you can't expect a reader or a coach just to coach you whenever you want to, just like you can't expect a serviceman, such as like somebody to change your oil, to just do it whenever they want to. No, when they're in their shop, that's when they're in their shop. When I'm at work, that's when I'm at work. So anyway, it's just very interesting and curious to see how people treat other people in their lives in regards to boundaries and in regards to what they do as a profession. So I just find it just absolutely fascinating. So let's see who else we have on here. Hi, Billa. Hi, Marlene. Jessica. Love you, Flora. I love you too, Jessica. Hi, Marlene. Yeah, so, you know, it's like I said, it's very interesting for all of that. We also have Deborah, Melrain, Jill, Thelma. Hi, Candace. Candace, I'm still waiting to see you in that high vibe group that I shared with you. Oh, my goodness. Jessica, Christy, Paula, yay, Julianne, Tanya, Karen. So, Mike Cahill says, know your worth and demand it. Absolutely, yes. Michelle said, I love seeing you put your foot down and have it be such a positive thing. I think people who are really positive are being seen as pushovers, so I love to see how you're handling this. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I don't tolerate it because it's like, look, this is my craft. I have been coaching. I've been working directly one-on-one with people since '97, well, way before that, because I'm a third-generation entrepreneur and saw my parents do, you know, customer service. They sold honey. They sold Shackley. They were beekeepers. My mom was an insurance agent. My dad was a purchasing agent. And customer service is kind of in our blood, you know what I mean? And so being of service is part of who I am. I love being of service. However, I am not a pushover, and I'm not going to work for free. My advice is free, but my time is not, okay? And that's the thing, is that's why I freely give here on Facebook, here on YouTube, and in other things that I do. But when you actually want my one-on-one time, you're going to have to pay for it. It's just like you go to the doctor. You get the doctor's expertise. When you go to the mechanic, you get the mechanic's expertise. And that's what you get with someone who has intellectual property. And I spend pretty much all my waking time crafting honing and mastering my craft. And I have a master's in something, or I've got a bachelor's in business and marketing and management. I've got the equivalent of a master's in spiritual counseling, but I haven't actually gotten my master's certificate yet. But this is something, and I'm also a certified life coach, and I master my craft. I mean, this is something that I still take classes to master what I do. And it's interesting because what I do is not tangible. It's like I can't make this bottle of water and go, oh yay, look, this is what I have for you today. No, this thing that I share with you, whether through a group setting like this or through one-on-one, it's that intangible change and shift that happens from the inside out. And literally it's a ripple effect that just happens and just transforms your life. And this is something that is so humbling for myself to see and witness in my clients. Like, I'm doing this program called the Bullshit Eliminator program, and we had our third class on Monday. And after the whole class was finished, I'm asking for questions, and it's crickets. There's like no questions. I'm thinking, shit, did we get cut off? Is there like a technical glitch or something? And then one of the participants came on the line, and he's just like, I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for this hugely transformative program. This is changing my life, And shortly after that, people just started flooding my inbox with all of these comments, basically saying, I didn't have any questions this week, but oh my God, this class is literally changing my life. And that's the thing that I keep hearing over and over and over again. This is the best investment that I've ever made. And what we look at in the Bullshit Eliminator program is to stop taking bullshit, is to stop putting up with it. Whether it's the small bullshit or the ginormous elephant in the room. But it's one of those things that when you give yourself permission to say, wait a minute, what do I like? What do I resonate with? What are my boundaries? And that's not being selfish. This is your life. You have every right to have your boundaries, your parameters, and say, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want. But if you cross this, hey, you know what? I don't like this. And you need to stop. You need to stop. And that's not being selfish. It's being self-caring. When people say, oh, you're being so selfish, that's actually a manipulative tactic that they're using to manipulate you, to control you. And I call bullshit on that. I so call bullshit on that, And so when you really allow yourself to say, no, that doesn't resonate with me, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to do that. And if somebody has a problem, say, well, you know what, that's not my problem, that's your problem. You need to get over yourself. So anyway, Candace says, are you talking about my video in the Bullshit Eliminator group? Oh, you posted a video? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh my gosh. No, I have not been on Facebook at all today. This is like the first time I've jumped onto Facebook. So, oh my God, I'm excited. I'm going to have to watch it. But no, I was talking about some of the people in the class on Monday. Oh my God, I am so excited to see it, Candace. Melissa says, hey there, Flora. Hey. Let me see. Candace says, we are all human with lives. Some people are takers. Yes, well, there's a difference between taking and receiving and giving and getting. And, well, taking, getting, and giving and receiving. And it's just one of those things is that in order for us to receive, we have to give. But don't cast pearls before swine. That's what it says in the Bible. What that means is don't give things to people that are bloodsuckers, that literally they're not willing to invest in themselves by putting forth money. You know, I've got this one class, it's for $7, and when I first offered it for $7, some people were saying, well, I can't afford that, but I want the class. And I'm going, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to come up with $7, because actually I used to actually charge $47 for it, and it's worth a whole lot more than that, but I'm only charging $7 because there has to be that equal energy exchange. And what happens when people realize when they invest even $1 in their life for their betterment and for their future, what they get back is tenfold than what they invest. And this is one of the things, is that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in my education and in my spiritual development, in my craft of coaching and teaching, so that I can 10 times that for you. So that when you invest in me, that will 10 times back to you. Okay? So it's this huge ripple effect that everything really just comes back 10 times more than what you exude and you invest in it. And it's just absolutely so amazing seeing the difference in people's lives when they recognize, you know what? I am going to spend this $7 or this $27 or this $47 or this $2,000 because I know that I'm worth it. And the thing is, and this is very interesting, is that you can know about something all day long. I say this so many times, but it's so true. You can know about something all day long, but until you actually put it into action, what it is that you know, you're not going to see any results. So if you're not seeing results in your life, you need to say, okay, wait a minute. Am I actually taking action? Am I taking action? Really? You know, and that's the thing with this person that kept sending me the emails. Yeah, she was taking action, but when she got that autoresponder saying, hey, I am not going to be here until Monday the 10th of July. Yay, if you need any technical stuff, email my assistant. If you'd like a reading or coaching, click this link and book a session. So the person could have booked a session and could have actually gotten in on the 11th, which is Tuesday, because I still had one spot left. But because she chose to wait, now the earliest she could get in is like the 25th of July. So hello, you know, the action she could have taken was, let me read the email. Oh, let me save a spot. Boom, I can get in right after she comes, back from vacation. But she chose not to do that. Karen says, I'm going through the same lesson of boundaries. Yes, isn't it interesting? And it's interesting because when you put up boundaries, some people get really pissed and you're like, that's not my problem that you're pissed, okay? These are my boundaries. This is where I feel good. This is my happy place. I don't want you crossing these boundaries. And then because people are so used to being able to control others and manipulate others through certain vices and certain things, that when you finally put your foot down and say, no, you can't go there, people get pissed. And not everybody, but people usually that are codependent, people that are used to manipulating others, they get pissed. And it's like, you know what, that's not my problem. I'm not going to bend over backwards for somebody who wouldn't do the same for me. So, anywho, Candace said, word, yep, absolutely. Robin, hey Flora. Kim says, absolute manipulation. Yes, it is. Excuse the vernacular, but it's a bunch of bullshit when people try to manipulate you. And that's one of the biggest things that has been a blessing for me in my codependency recovery, is that how easily manipulation is done and how easily it can come from both sides. So that overt manipulation is you must do this or else. The covert manipulation is, well, this person is pissing me off. They're saying something that I don't like, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to ruffle their feathers. But you're manipulating them by not saying anything because you are controlling the situation. Because if you were to say, well, you know what, I really don't like that you're doing that, and this is why. If you were to say that, that would change the outcome of that situation, of the event, of the scenario. But because you're choosing not to say anything, you are also manipulating. And I was shocked when I recognized that, because I'm going, oh my God, I am just as bad as the person that is overtly manipulating, because I'm covertly manipulating the same way. And I was like, oh, wow. And that was shocking for me to realize. So I was like, holy hell, I can't believe I am a manipulator. And I was like, oh my God. And so how I remedied this was I had to find my voice. I had to find boundaries and parameters and say, you know what, I really don't like when you do this. And a lot of the times I was labeled as being selfish. I was labeled as being insensitive, as being a cold-hearted bitch, as being all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's fine that you think that way, but I don't care, because this is my happy place and you're not crossing it. And I had to speak my truth. So one person that I was in a relationship with for a good number of years, would never answer my question. I'd ask him a question and hey, what's the price of rice in China? And he'd say, well, China has probably over 100 different types of rice. And I'm like, well, that's great, but how much does it cost? Well, cooking rice on a hot day, blah. I mean, he would literally answer every question but the question that you asked. And so finally, I started to call him on his bullshit. I'm just like, you're not answering the question. I asked you how much the price of rice is in China. And he would get pissed at me because I would want him to actually answer the question. And that was a huge way that he manipulated me, by not answering questions, by saying everything else but the answer to the question that I asked. And I had to find my voice. I had to speak my truth, and I had to find the courage to do it and actually create the courage. And that was something that we talked about in the Bullshit Eliminator program, is how you can create the courage to speak your truth and actually start to clear the bullshit. And so Kim, it's crazy when you start to recognize how people actually manipulate you and how easily it can be done. And it's like, oh my God, this is so scary. But once you know, then you're not going to fall for it anymore. And then you're like, nope, and then you put the kibosh on it right away, and which is just so refreshing and so freaking empowering. You can't even stand it. You're just like, oh my God, this is awesome, because you no longer feel victim. You no longer feel like you're being run over by a Mack truck, and you start to have really healthy relationships, and you start to actually have really good dialogue with people, and you're like, wow, that was like really healthy. That was like really cool to actually have an adult conversation where there's no manipulation, and you actually feel heard, and you can actually speak your truth without the other person getting all bent out of shape about it, which is really exciting. So, Melissa said, sorry I missed the live class on Monday. My phone sucks up north, but I love the message, working on my boundaries. I love this whole class. Yay, 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 yay. I'm so glad that you love it. Candace said, such truth you are speaking. Well, thank you. Hi, Warren. Kim says, I grew up with manipulation. Family is so good at it. Yes, they are, Kim. And that's the thing, is that when you can recognize what your family of origin taught you, and you recognize where it all stems from, and how you learned it, and why you learned it, and why you had to adapt to it, then that literally causes everything to just kind of fall away, because then you can work on that specific thing instead of all the things that you think it might be, if that makes any sense. So with my, codependency and my manipulation and my, not wanting to say anything because I didn't want to ruffle feathers, I was being the polite, nice girl, I was just going to smile and everything was fine. I did not know that was manipulation. And I'm just like, that is shocking. That was absolutely shocking. My codependency was exacerbated and the worst in my relationships with my intimate partners. And I didn't understand, and I thought it was from my dad kicking me out when I was 16. So my stepmom and my dad collectively kicked me out when I was 16. And so I thought to myself, well, if my dad can't love me, who can? And so I started to basically morph into the person who I thought my partner wanted me to be. But with my other relationships, like all my platonic relationships with like my girlfriends and stuff like that, I was not codependent with them. And, or so I thought, because again, if they said something I didn't like, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruffle feathers, course that was a form of manipulation. But in working my step 4 and step 5, so step 4 is when you basically list out all the bullshit. Everything that you've done, everything, I mean, just anything and everything that is just blah, you just list it all out. It usually takes a while. Step 5 is when you actually share your truth with some random person. And so my random person, he is my co-sponsor. His name's Glenn. He's absolutely amazing. And that's not his real name, by the way. And so anyway, so we were sharing back and forth, and it took several hours, so we actually met twice for several hours each time for me to share all of my entire step 4/5. So step 5 is you sharing your step 4. So anyway, and so during the time that I was sharing, he was talking about, I was sharing about my codependency and where I learned it or where I thought I learned it and behaviors and my parents and how many times I was attracted to people that were emotionally unavailable and all this other stuff. And he goes, well, it sounds like your parents were, emotionally unavailable. And it sounds to me like that you started this codependency kind of journey with your mom. And I was like, huh, really? And then, so I kind of had to stop and think, and then I said, wow, you know what? I remember 2 specific times where I absolutely felt judged and absolutely felt, well, I didn't feel judged, but I saw her judging, people. Okay, so I'll just give you the 2 examples. The first one, we were watching Liberace on TV as a family, and he was this amazingly animated, like piano player. Oh, bedazzled everywhere. He had like a blinged out piano, and he had rings on his fingers, and he was like, yay, perfect smile, super tan skin, and just this beautiful display of artistry and performance. And then he started playing, and I was like, oh, this is epic. Check this out. This guy's amazing. And I'm like watching him in awe, going, he's like a sparkly fairy who can play piano. This is so cool. And then my mom looked at him and she goes, oh, what a faggot. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like 4 or 5. I mean, maybe 6. And I didn't know what that word meant, but I knew to her it was bad, and I never wanted to be on the receiving end of that look that she gave that person. And I was like, how could that person be bad? And I'm just like, because just that judgment that I saw her fling at him, but yet we were watching him as a family, and he was so incredibly, amazingly talented, and I was like, this is crazy awesome, and I was like, what the hell? So I totally got these mixed messages because she was in the theater, I was in the theater, I had been in umpteen plays, and with all the pageantry and artistry and the acting and the performing, and that's exactly what I saw him do. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, well, shit. So I started to all of a sudden go, well, wait a minute. Should I not be like that, or should I be like that? Well, wait, what? Because I love the theater. Like literally my whole family has been in theater. And so I'm just like, well, shit. And I couldn't pinpoint what it is that was wrong with him. And I didn't know what that word meant. So I was so confused. And then fast forward a few years, they had this video center. And hang on, I need to plug my phone in. So they had this video center, which was way before the days of Blockbuster. And hang on. Whoops. And so just a second. Let me plug my phone in. Is this going to show? No, it's not. Okay. Let me make sure that that's starting to charge. Yes. Okay, perfect. Hang on. I gotta stop my iTunes from coming up. So anyway, so fast forward a couple years. I'm at the video center with my mom, and I hear her on the phone with someone, and she was talking about this lady in town who got her tubes tied. And there was, in the town I grew up in, there was the Catholics and then the loosey-goosey Lutherans. Oh my God, God forbid, okay? And this lady was a Lutheran, and she goes, oh yeah, so-and-so got her tubes tied so she could whore around. And I was like, oh, and there was that look. And I was like, holy hell, I do not want to be on the receiving end of that look. And so so I understood what she said that time, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so I started to morph who I was and change who I was to please her in hopes of pleasing her. That's where my codependency all stemmed from, was her and the judgments that she was slinging at other people, because I didn't want to be judged. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted for who I was. I didn't want to have rejection. I didn't want to be ostracized for something random. But that was such a mixed message that I received that I was like, oh my God. And in my codependency recovery, in my step 5, when I was sharing that with my co-sponsor, and he kind of brought this to my attention, I was like, wow, that is huge. That is so freaking huge. And I started crying because literally everything else that I thought the problem was melted away, and I saw that one big stick, that one thing that was holding everything else up. And that's one of the things that we do in the Bullshit Eliminator class, is we look at all the bullshit that you're dealing with, the big umbrella of bullshit, and we start to whittle away the smaller stuff so that all of a sudden you can see that one big thing that's holding everything else up. And one of the big things is, coming down to boundaries and just saying, what is it that really resonates with me? What is it that I really want? What is it that I'm doing that I'm saying that I want, but then I don't really want it? And what is it? Do I have double standards? And that's this whole thing that kind of where I started from, with all the boundaries and this person just continuing to push and push and push and push and push. And when my assistant is like, hey lady, she's on vacation. If you want a reading or coaching, you need to just book a session, and the person just got all bent out of shape about it. And it's like, that's not my problem. But before I tackled the bullshit in my life, and before I tackled my codependency, I would have bent over backwards and been like, yeah, okay, I'll give a reading to you even though I'm on vacation. You know what I mean? Which is bullshit. And so now I have my voice. I found my voice. I speak my truth. I speak my boundaries and share my boundaries before they're crossed. And if somebody tries to cross them, I'm like, no, so sorry, but it's not going to happen. And then if they get pissed, that's not on me. That's them. That's not my circus, not my monkeys. That's something that they need to work on. It's their issue. And the beautiful thing about recognizing the bullshit in your life is you start to recognize what's yours and what's not yours, which is so exciting, because then you can release the stuff that is not yours. Woohoo! So, let me see. Melissa says, I didn't realize avoiding the situation and not saying anything is manipulation either. Light bulb, aha moment, thank you. You are very welcome. Yeah, it's a form of covert manipulation, because you're covertly doing something kind of under the wire, and by you not doing it, you are causing that situation to be different than if you were to say something. You know what I mean? So, it's very interesting. Jen said, LOL, a sparkly fairy who can play piano. Yes, if you've ever seen Liberace, he's just absolutely incredible. So my phone is at 9%. It's supposed to be charging. I don't understand why it's not, but that's okay. We'll get off of here in just a second. Candace said, I grew up with religious abuse and judgment. I too realized through the 12 steps of codependency came from that, not necessarily my dad leaving. Isn't it interesting, Candace? Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Codependency Anonymous, is when you work the steps and you share your step 4 and step 5, how much comes to light. And then the more that you go through all the steps and work the program and go to meetings and you learn to call bullshit on yourself, you learn to call bullshit with other people in your life, you learn to set up boundaries, you learn to be more clear with those boundaries. It's just an amazing thing altogether, and being able to recognize the ripple effect that your self-improvement has on your life, because you've taken your life into your own hands and you say, you know what? I'm worth happiness. I'm worth so much more than this BS. And you start to manifest the life of your dreams, and you start to manifest a beautiful day. You start to manifest really beautiful friendships that flourish, and that just means so much to you. And so, oh, I absolutely love it. So anyway, it is almost 5 o'clock, and so we're gonna bounce. I'm gonna get off here, but I know that I've kind of mentioned a couple things. So if you're interested in learning how to manifest awesome and amazing things, I want you to click link number 1 below this video. And what that is the How to Manifest Like a Boss 5-day free challenge that we're doing. We're starting on Monday, July 10th, which is the day I officially come back from vacation. And what this training is, it's a 5-day law of attraction training. Some of you have been through it, some of you have not. Regardless, I recommend absolutely everybody sign up for the free training because you will learn to manifest quickly, and manifest repeatedly in this 5-day challenge, and bring all your friends through the challenge, because I'm telling you, people have manifested the heck out of some stuff during this 5 days. Also, if you are tired of the bullshit in your life and you are ready to make a change, you are ready to finally live a life of freedom, free from your bullshit and everybody else's bullshit, click link number 2. And what this link is going to bring you, or where it's going to bring you, is to the Bullshit Eliminator programs. The Bullshit Eliminator programs I actually have 2 of them. I have the Quick Start program, which is just the 4 steps. I walk you through how to get clear on what's the one piece of bullshit today that is stressing you out and giving you grief, and then how to clear it. Or you can go through the entire 30-day experience with myself and other people. Both programs, the Quick Start and the full 30-day experience program, have a private Facebook group and page that you can vent and rant all you want, and also celebrate when you cleared the bullshit in your life, which is awesome because it's so freeing. So, also what you get with the 30-day experience is you get the Quick Start program for free, and you get 4 downloadable MP3s. We are currently almost through the program, and so the first 3 weeks is downloadable for you via MP3, and the 4th week we still have live, which is going to be next Tuesday. So if you still want to get in on that, jump on the chance right now to do it, and you're always going to have access to that full program and the Facebook group, and also anytime I do this program live again, you're going to have access to it for life. So if you're interested in that, click link number 2. All right, I love you all so much. Candace said, thank you for this video riff. You are very, very welcome. Kim says, thank you so much. Very helpful. Yes, Kim, I thank you for being on. You know, this is one of the things that, you know, life sometimes is really freaking messy. And one of the things that I've always said is it takes a village. We're all in this together. No one's better than anybody else. We all have those shit days where we're like, oh, this is horrible. And then we all have great days that we're like, yay, this is the best day ever. You know, but we all have an expertise in something. And when you're in that tribe, when you're in the village, okay, we can all use our strengths to raise each other up and support each other, which makes it so amazing and so beautiful. And this is one of my strengths, is calling out the bullshit, helping you figure out and pinpoint what the bullshit is, and then helping you figure out how to clear it. So, hey, Nicole says, oh, I missed it. I have to watch it after work. Yes, Nicole, this is pretty epic. It's so good. So good. You need to watch the replay. All right, everyone, click link number 1 to jump on and jump in the How to Manifest Like a Boss free training that starts on Monday, July 10th. And click link number 2 to check out the Bullshit Eliminator Quick Start and 30-day experience programs. All right, everyone, I love you all so much, and I will see you back here very soon. Mwah! Hope you have a really fabulous rest of your evening. All right, bye.